Everybody, man, it's your boy Fulan speaks back, man. We had to go live real quick. I was just gonna make a video, not do a live, but then I said, you know what, F it, man, we'll go live. Why not? Worked out the last couple of days, and I like to engage the people personally. There was a lot of y'all, man, in the comment section. I wanted to address, and I'll probably later put out one of those videos where I address you fellas, man. Y'all be tripping, man. Like some of y'all had a problem with me uh talking about Paige Beckers. Like, and I don't understand that, dude. I talk about whatever I want to talk about. I made a video talking about Paige Beckers, and somehow you're bringing up, you know what I mean, this other girl who I didn't say Paige was better than. I said Paige was better than King Clark last year before Paige even got to the league. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't like that. That's too bad. But today, I just wanted to start off talking about the Chicago Sky really tonight. Chicago has a game against the Atlanta Dream. I'm sure there ain't too many of us thinking Chicago is going to win. So it's not going to be that much of like a pregame type of thing. I want to talk more about the Pagliocca, if I'm saying his name right, thing, as well as Angel Reese and all. Right now, Chicago Sky fandom is kind of like in, I don't know, all over the place. Kind of like in, you know, um, I listen to a lot of the content creators, man. Shout out to all of them throughout yesterday. And losing, I'm telling you, affects us all in so many different ways. It leads to all types of stuff coming up. It leads to, I think theorizing, conspiracy theorizing. It leads to a whole bunch of stuff. Now, like I said, I'm not a person that's necessarily into conspiracy theories, and I'm not necessarily against them. Anything people put out, I kind of weigh it against common sense, truth, stuff like that, and then I give my opinion on it, right? So, the first thing I wanted to do was look back at how we all got here, man. The beginning of the year. So, what I went and I did, and I'm going to kind of play over the over this video, Jeff Pagliocca's one-on-one interview a month ago, right before the first game. This was like training camp during the preseason training camp time, and it was when you see the famous joint where Angel Reese interrupts his interview, right? Angel Reese interrupts his interview. They hug each other and all of that. Angel Reese says, "I'm his favorite." You're going to hear it, and I'm trying to get where I'm trying to sense where some of the stuff coming from, where he don't really like Angel. Is that really true or not? It could be. Like I said, I'm not declaring anything. I don't know none of these people. I haven't talked to Jeff. I haven't talked to Angel. I don't know how anybody feels about anybody. All I'm trying to do is listen and try to come up with what's likely going on. So I'm going to play. What's going on, Jared? And what's going on, Jay? I'm going to just go ahead and play that interview right now and try to make sense out of it.
Just want to get your thoughts on just training camp so far. I know it's early on in the cycle, but just what have you seen so far?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. We've had two extremely competitive days, which is what Tyler and I were gunning for. We brought these players in to create a very competitive environment. So the energy has been perfect, and people have really been getting after it.
Yeah, no, I could tell. They went a little late today. I'm sure they probably needed that.
Yes. Yesterday was a long one.
So just your vision for this overall roster. We talked draft night. You talked about just your mindset and just putting this team together. Mm-hmm. Are you pleased with everything you're just seeing so far?
Yeah, we're thrilled. Tyler and I and the rest of the team put a lot of time and energy into, decisions. A lot of things happened, in the off season. A lot of changes were made, and we have a lot more balance and improvement that's been made to the roster, and now people are fighting for jobs. This is what you want.
So you have obviously Camilla and Angel Earn and be the building blocks of what you guys are doing here. What have you seen from them so far, year two, just that next step in their development?
Yeah, no, it's a good one. Definitely a lot more maturity, a lot more relaxed understanding of the game, the pace of it, the flow. And it's been two new coaching staffs, and they both adjusted quickly again because because, you know, they come from winning programs in the past in college, and they've assimilated quickly. But, you know, they both had very good off seasons. You know, Camila in China and Angel and Unrivaled. So they've grown as players. They're coming in shape, you know, and they've impacted the both camp days, you know, quite a bit.
We talked a second ago about the makeup of your roster. I feel like the veterans that you.
All right, so I'm gonna stop it right there just for a quick second. And we saw that the question that he was asked about was, like the guy worded it. He said, "Angel and Camila is your building blocks of your team." Now, right, Jeff didn't say they're the building blocks, but he also did not like negate that as like being part of the thing. So either he's insidiously kind of deciding, you know, doesn't really believe that, but he's going to find a way to, either he got some type of plot to have his team be really bad from the beginning, or he just don't know how to build around them. Either he does believe that they're the building blocks and he doesn't know how to build around them, or he doesn't like them as players and he's purposely trying to destroy them. It's one or the other. I'm just trying to kind of get to what I think is most likely. All right. So he didn't negate that idea, just for starters.
And right, coming in with that winning championship type of DNA, was that something that was important to you?
Yes.
Now that's a good point there, Ms. Goody too. You said Rachel fought for a job, right? So you're right.
Extremely important for us
We're gonna
to
talk
bring
about
in
that.
real vets to this group, because we wanted balance on the roster. And whenever you're going to add a Vandersloot, you're going to bring real leadership, intensity, championship. You're going to bring a passion that most people don't have. And you know, we brought in a number of other vets too, and you know, we need them all. You know, we wanted to have good balance in the roster. You know, we're 36, you know, all the way down to 22 years old, and we have good balance in between. But the vets have been terrific. You know, Rachel has come back, Raya's back, and then you add a Kia, you add Rebecca Allen. You know, Michaela's getting older now, you know, 25, 26, you know, and, you know, it's been really good, and the younger players have players they can look up to now.
No, yeah, Angel spoke today.
And a healthy Elizabeth Williams, right?
You heard him. So you talked about Sloot, and it's so funny that when I think about your relationship and how you guys even came to even work together. So just wanted to get your thoughts on.
Right.
What's up, Angel?
I'm his favorite.
Sometimes.
Who's the second?
So that's when Angel comes in and says, I'm his favorite, right? And he says, sometimes. All right, now from me, I gather from that they have a genuinely good relationship. Or at least she thinks so. Because I don't think she would come in and say that if she doesn't believe that. Now, things could have changed since then. This was a month ago. But I'm of the opinion that they had to at least start it out beginning of the year with a good relationship. Right? Even though he said sometimes, but he said it jokingly. You know, that's normal. I don't really gather much from that.
But see, that relationship you have from her, it evolved from just the player development side and your skills training work.
Right.
So now full circle, now she's back here. Can you just talk to us about just some of those conversations and just how that even came to be?
Yeah, look, I'm incredibly grateful. You know,
Some of you saying wording is key. I don't always adhere to that. I don't always believe that. But not saying you're wrong. I don't always believe that. Like, just think about in your life. Do you word everything with something behind it all the time? Or sometimes you just talk? You know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm trying to gather the type of person he is. Is he that calculated? Because right now, see, this is my thing, right? I think to plot and plan and do everything that some people are saying that he's doing, for me, requires a very high amount of intelligence, in my opinion, right? It requires a high amount of intelligence, like plotting and knowing, okay, if I do this, people will react this way, and then it makes me easy for me to do that. That requires a high degree of intelligence, even if it's like ignorance behind it, or even if it's some type of insidious evil behind it. It's not a level of intelligence I'm ready to credit him yet with. Right now, I believe he's just an incompetent person at basketball who likely doesn't know the game, and he makes mistakes. And then on top of that, this is where I am. Now, some of y'all can change my mind before we done, and maybe my mind will change before I'm done. But this is where I am right now, just being honest. I believe he's not even smart enough to do all that. Like, there's just plotting and planning. Let me just put this out here, put together this bad team to make Angel look bad so I can get rid of her. And then um, um, plot from there. And the reason I say that is because, okay, if in the beginning you don't like Angel, you don't like Camilla, right? Let's say you just don't like them, you want a different type of player to be your franchise player. My question would be, why not trade Angel Reese when her stock is at its highest, which is last season, she makes all-star team. Then she goes to Unrivaled and does well in Unrivaled. Why not trade her at that point where it's at its height? A possible answer to this could be, well, the fans wouldn't go for it. So let's say that's the case. That's the reason he didn't. Fans didn't go for it. Wouldn't go for it at that time. What is the purpose in, like, okay, you're wasting a whole season by putting together a bad roster. Okay? You're putting together a bad roster on purpose. And you lessen Angel's value by purposely making sure that her numbers aren't as well as last year. Maybe she doesn't make an all-star team, all these types of things. What would you get for her versus what would you would have gotten last season? That's just the only thing I don't understand. Why would you do that? Why go through all of that? And also, you're not the owner of the team if you're Jeff. You have a job. You got a guy named Michael Alter and people like that are really owners that you got to answer to. Like, Jeff has to be, he's accountable to someone. He's not like a guy that can't be fired. Like, if it was an owner doing it, now, if the argument is that the owner is the one behind the whole thing, maybe. You see what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that, I'm right and anyone's wrong. I'm just trying to, it just takes me a while to buy certain things. That's all. I gotta go through, I have a problem where things have to make some sense to me. Even for the one I disagree with. Like, it gotta make sense. But I'm gonna just play a little bit more and then we'll talk more about it. I'm gonna deal with some of your questions too.
She took a chance on me in a new profession that I'm in right now. She changed my life in a lot of ways, when we came together and I started doing her skill work. I learned a ton from her. She met my competitiveness and passion for the game head on, and I finally met my match, the type of competitor.
He's talking about Vandersloot, which is almost irrelevant now since she's hurt, but
I wanted to spend a lot of time with. So, we were putting a lot of hours in, every day a couple years back. And she went to New York. We were able to win her back over, with Tyler's help. And just having a player in here that's a future Hall of Famer that, players really look to, who always going to make the right decision, who's going to be passionate and still be an understanding leader. And I'm really impressed with how vocal she's been. And that's the role that she's going to have to take on every single day in here. But, there's only one Courtney Vandersloot. She's as special as they come, and she's still, going to exceed some expectations this year.
And just to that point, she's so even keeled, but I've seen just a different aspect of her so far in this camp. Is that why?
She's fired up. Yeah, she's got an edge to her. I think she's always had an edge to her. This is even a bigger one, but she only wants to prove stuff to herself. But I'll tell you right now, she's still got it. She's been absolutely terrific these last 2 days.
And then my last one for you.
Sure.
Speaking of Coach Marsh,
yep.
You guys, you talk about it when you introduced him to the media.
Yep.
Just that symmetry. You guys seem to work very well together, brought his dad on board.
Yep.
Just talk to me about just what you've seen from him so far.
Yeah, we knocked it out of the park with that hire. I am nothing without that man. So his attention to detail, his passion, his authenticity, everything we were hoping, when we were getting to know each other, has been tenfold. And just the conversations we're still able to have, and just his vision and mine aligned so much that we were able to see, days like this, and the conversations are endless, because we have so many great players here, and he's got so many great ideas. But just his attention to detail and his ability to command the gym, and players want to play hard for him already. And to me, that's a very telling, situation for him right now as a first-year head coach. The players are already coming in here, going extremely hard for him.
Yeah, I've been hearing it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, it's enough of that, right? Now I want to deal with some of your questions. I know y'all making comments and stuff. Let's see what's been going on. So, man, J3C, we taking on the dream. Hope so, man. I don't see it, but he said. And Debbie Brown, Miss Debbie making sure, he said sometimes. You one of those paying attention to his words. I feel you. And Felicia Daniels, did he say they only brought in the additional players to make a competitive environment? If so, he already knew who he was going to sign. That's true. That's true. But he did say they fighting for jobs, which is, there's no truth to that because there was none of the extra people that actually want a job. So we know that part is just BS. Then Ms. Goody Two say Rachel before for a job. Yeah, Rachel ain't fight for nothing. And Debbie Brown says he knows exactly what he's doing. All right, I see you. You ain't feeling Jeff. I feel you. And Elijah Gates' wording is key. Like I said, wording may be key. I don't give him that much credit for being that smart though. But y'all could be right. So Angel Reese has an effortless sense of humor. Yeah, definitely. And Najla, right? I'm sorry if I'm messing up your name. Najla Bliss Sports Channel to prevent a riot and national media scrutiny. That could be that he didn't trade Angel to for that reason. That's the only answer I could come up with. See, my thing though with that is anytime you purposely go and have a bad season, the owner has to be on board with it. The owner has to be on board with it because your job is on the line and you are accountable to that owner and to the ownership group. So that's the only way that works for me. Now, I'm not saying that's outside of the realm of possibility. It could be the owners in on the whole thing and everything. I just tend to doubt it, because Angel Reese is an asset. You know what I mean? And this is how, and I'm very cynical. Now, my cynicalness works in this way. If it's something they don't care about, they're less likely to care about the actual product on the floor than like the money that's being brought in, right? So in other words, like the reason the Chicago Sky has the fourth most national games, it ain't because they're a winning team. They weren't a winning team last year. It's literally because they have a marquee player, an Angel Reese that companies have invested in, that the league to a certain degree has invested in. I mean, she may not be like she's in the news, whether for good or bad, from the standpoint of ticket sales and making money, that's all good to them. Whether she's a great player or not, the fact that she's like selling jerseys, she's in the media, that they're talking about her, even if it's in a negative way, from a standpoint from business, it's all good, right? So you have this marquee player, right? That's the reason Chicago has the fourth most amount of national games, at least for now, unless they flex them out. This stuff continues, right? They have to have a vested interest in Chicago from the standpoint that Chicago is part of what created this environment that you have right now, meaning you have games that are being watched now. And the most watched game is when the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever play each other. And this has nothing to do with how good the teams are or how bad the teams are. It's for better or for worse, there is a large amount of people that want to see these two teams face each other because of the marquee players. Okay? So if I'm Chicago Sky, and I really believe this about these teams, they would care more about that, actually, than like say Angel Reese's production or something like that. They would care more about that because now you have an opportunity to make more money and more corporate interests and sponsorship than you did before. Those are the things I believe rich people care about more than the other stuff, the actual like basketball. I want a different type of player or something like that. Like I said, I could be wrong. It's just, I tend to just go with things that just make more sense. Okay, that's just me. Not saying my mind can't be changed. It's just, I'm trying to make sense out of the whole thing. Okay, so to believe that he would purposely waste a whole year and create a team that he knows isn't going to win in order to make a marquee player like an Angel Reese look bad on purpose is very unlikely. Not impossible, but unlikely. And it would have to have an owner on board with it, because he's putting himself in a situation where he could be fired, right? So then when he goes and he makes the comment the other night that everyone was talking about, as far as we need more from Angel Reese and all of that, I see that personally, and I could be wrong again, as just a classic not wanting to take accountability for oneself and just putting it on the players and putting it on the coaching staff. Right, we need more from Angel and all of that, but we also need her to do other things. It's like a weak ass comment, but it's more like I don't know. Is it throwing her under the bus? Maybe to a degree, but it's more like I don't want her to shine the light on myself, because if he starts to talk about Vandersloot and he talks about Nurse and all of that, now we're shining the light on the bad job you did. Not so much about Angel, but the bad job you did. And I think it's more like that. I just think he's a weasel. I think he's weak, and I think he's incompetent, more than like just this mastermind guy who's putting together this plan. I just don't think he's that smart to do that. And also, with being that smart, the ownership got to be on board with it. Like, I don't think it's likely that anybody in these situations, whether it's a coach, a GM, or anybody, would purposely have a bad season. Because you could be fired too quick in this industry. But I could be wrong. What do y'all, just let me know what y'all think. You know, maybe I'm tripping. Elijah Gay says, I think it may be because he sees value in other things that people don't see. But I get your point. I'm not sure where what you refer to there. My bad if I've been talking so much to where I don't remember what point I might have made that you might be responding to. So Benny DeMarble says, that black guy was tripping last night, but I moved on from it. Yeah, it was a lot of people tripping. I'm not sure who exactly you're talking about. I be tripping sometimes. Magic Man Heru, peace and abundant blessings, Fulan. Excellent presentation. Content, appreciate it. Miss Goody Two Shoes, I do think they wanted to tone down Angel's role to cool the energy down from last season. You could be right. Yeah, you could be right. I don't know. Like, I don't get why they would care about that. You know, I think all the money and interest comes through winning. I think there would be more of an interest in creating a rivalry. Like for example, I believe the key to that whole new deal and everything is the Chicago and Fever rivalry. Now, why do I say that? Well, they gave them more games against each other than any other teams. None of the champs, none of that. They gave these two teams, who neither one are contenders, Fever or Chicago, they gave them more games than anybody else, right? So if you are purposely going to make Chicago bad, you're going to piss off a lot of people. Not just the Chicago ownership, but you're also going to piss off corporate sponsorships and interests like that, okay? Because they're putting their ass on the line by giving you these 5 games, right? So if you purposely mess that up, bruh, you know, so I'm got to be more inclined to believe that it's not on purpose, that this guy just don't know what the hell he's doing. He's just a bad GM. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't know that Kid Nurse was a bad pick. He doesn't know that Rachel Banham isn't good. He's bad, right? He would have to be a mastermind and smarter than people think he is to do what he's doing on purpose, in my opinion. So Nigel Bias Sports Channel says, or Bliss Sports Channel, I just don't understand why Michaela Onyenwere is being benched. She was one of the best performers at the end of last season. I don't understand anything that's going on with Michaela at all. I don't. Like, now I get she may not be the greatest player, or she may not be the I get it, but is she worse than Kia Nurse? Is she worse than Rebecca Allen? I don't think so. Now, I can get if you say Kia Nurse more so fits the standard mold of the three more than her, maybe. But Michaela's not worse than those players. So I agree. I don't get why you being benched on this team. You know what I mean? Maybe I can get why you benched somewhere else, but I don't get why she benched here. Yeah, I kind of agree. Felicia Daniel says, because front office wouldn't go for it, he would have to make her look bad. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I don't know if I'm convinced of that yet. As far as I'm sure you're referring to why he wouldn't have just traded Angel in the offseason. That's what I would have done. I would have just go to the owner and explain to him why you believe Angel Reese is not a player that you could build around. Okay. And then trade her. And then the owner gonna be like, all right, well, it's your ass. And then trade her. Because I don't know. I guess I'm very cynical. I just think owners and ownership groups and these people don't care as much about basketball as you think. I think they're more like, shit, Angel Reese got us 5 national games? Okay, then that's why I want to keep Angel Reese. Or Angel Reese got us all these national games and got us 5 against the FIFA. All right, then that's the way I think they believe. I think owners, because I think the bottom line is like the potential for money is more important than the things we care about. But I could be wrong. I don't know. And then I just think a lot of people, I just think he is just a bad GM. But, I don't know. What would be the other reason they didn't make plays for one of the best? Oh, you talking about they didn't run plays for her? Yes and no. I do recall, though, there was an effort to put the ball in Angel Reese's hands more. Right? Angel Reese was used more as a facilitator early games. Right? She was bringing the ball up and being a facilitator more. So I don't know if that's their version of trying to run stuff for her. But I also believe part of the problem is Tyler Marsh wants a 3-point shooting team. I believe he believes, or somebody does, whether it's Tyler, whether it's Jeff, or whether it's someone else in the coaches, they believe that games will be won and lost at the 3-point line. I'm judging that based on the amount of threes they were taking, right? We look at some of them games, they were taking an exorbitant amount of threes. They were taking more threes than the opponent that they were fighting, playing, right? So that's why I believe players like Banham get a lot of minutes, because that's her supposed MO. She shoots threes. That's why I believe players like Kia Nurse are starting and players like that versus other players, because I think they wanted to shoot threes. And because Angel Reese isn't a 3-point shooter, they were like struggling to find a balance between, okay, how many of these threes we're going to take versus how many times we're going to pass the ball inside. And then their idea was, okay, let's give Angel Reese the ball to be a facilitator more, to help facilitate the 3-point shooting. That's what I think their vision was, but they don't know what the hell they're doing, right? And they don't have the personnel to actually do that. That's just what I think, but I could be wrong. So he is speaking gibberish when coming to Tyler. Yeah, probably. But I don't know. That picking Tyler could have been a part of Jeff just being bad. He could have been bad at figuring. I know some of us believe like he wants someone that is docile and he can run all over. That could be it. That when he interviewed Jeff, or when Jeff interviewed Tyler, that he saw that Tyler is a guy that he felt like he could just run all over him, whereas he couldn't run all over Spoon. There could be something to that. I don't totally deny it. you know. But it could also be that he just didn't know what type of guy to pick. You know what I mean? It could also be Tyler's not good and he just picked a bad GM, you know. So it could be either way for me. So Tyler is his guy. They're going to have to get rid of both and start over. Maybe. And Uncle J.E. says, peace, Jeff P. trying to control the narrative. Hey, could be, bro. I'm not going to tell you wrong. Could be. We'll see how this going. And I might start swinging. I might start leaning that way. I'm just not there yet. You know, I just think he's just bad. Hi, I'm Treyana. Yeah, okay. Felicia says, reducing her skill was the answer. Now, since Sloot hurt, they need her. You think the way she played against New York just happened? No, she already had it in her bag, but they wanted Sloot to shine, not her. Could be that they wanted that. I tend more to believe that it was Sloot. You know what I mean? Just being the bad point guard. I kind of tend to believe that. I think, I don't know. Like what you're suggesting is that Tyler and Jeff purposely told Sloot, don't pass the ball to Angel, or something of this nature. Don't pass the ball to Angel. It's your team. You do your thing. Right? Or something like that. I want you to purposely not work with her. If they did that, then I need Angel to stop saying, give Tyler grace. I need Angel to stop acting like it ain't like that. Because if those efforts are literally telling Sloot, don't give the ball to Angel Reese. We're purposely trying to make her look bad. It ain't going to be long before Angel recognizes what's happening. And if she is recognizing what's happening, I need her to like act like she know that that's what's happening, you know, in a more clear way. Maybe her going out there and just being more aggressive offensively is her way. Maybe. I don't know. I need to see more of a, you ain't got to go up there and say, you know, give Tyler March grace. Grace for what? They're trying to make you look bad, you know. I tend to believe it was just Sloot just wasn't being a very good point guard, or she was trying to be a star or whatever she was doing, you know. Like, our Woden Mac on all platforms says, I watched another well-known Chicago podcaster, a young lady we all know. She read the actual statement from Jeff. So for those that seen the statement in full, it was a plea for more. Was it a plea for more or slight? Yeah, about that. Like I said, with the way he interpreted, the way he put that out there, it can be interpreted all types of ways. The problem I think most people have with it, and the problem I got with it is, Angel's the only one you talking about. Like, unless he did talk about other players. Angel's the only one you talked about. Now, some people might counter that by saying, well, if that's the franchise player takes the blame. Similar to like the franchise player is going to get most of the credit. If that's what it was, you know what? Cool. If Jeff had already talked to Angel and they got an understanding that, hey, look, you know, since you're the leader, this is how I'll speak publicly. If they got an understanding like that, I'm cool with it. The problem is, I don't think he's that thorough, man. Like, I don't know. I don't think he's that thorough. I think he's just a dude that's embarrassed right now because he put together a fucked up ass team and he trying to save his own ass. That's just more so what I think. Because, like, I don't know that the owner is really not ready to fire him. Like, does anybody know the owner or how the owner is? Is his job really secure, Jeff? You feel me? Like, to where he could just, like, put together bad seasons, make players that, you know, corporate sponsors have invested in look bad. Does he have that type of freedom with the ownership where they won't fire his dumb ass? Like, if so, then I hear you. Philip Berrien says, I've been saying constantly that the sky needs a Cheryl Swoops. I would like a Cheryl Swoops. A lot of people who know basketball more than me thinks no. But shit, I would like a Cheryl Swoops. I know one thing Cheryl Swoops is gonna do. She's gonna make sure you beat Indiana. I don't give a damn what else it is. Cheryl Swoops will make sure that your ass beat Indiana. And that's for sure. That's for sure. And now I know he beating Indiana ain't the whole entire goal. But I know for sure, if you got Cheryl Swoops as a coach, you will not go out there and get embarrassed and get the floor wiped by no Caitlin Clark-led team. That ain't happening. Uncle Jay says, I thought about that. The league probably won't allow Chicago to trade Angel. We're going to see. Now, I do believe they're trying to trade one of them. I'm more inclined to believe it's Camilla, though, because I'm seeing more signs of that, right? Number one, Camilla is not talked about, not being put out there. He's quiet about Camilla, okay? To me, that's more of a sign, right? I don't know if you like her or not. You ain't talking about her. The worst thing to be is irrelevant. Number two, I'm looking at the way they're using her in the game. Tyler Marsh, the leash they got on Camilla is so damn quick. Camilla can go out there and make one or two mistakes, and they'll pull her out in 3 to 4 minutes into the game. And then put her in sparingly here and there. Despite whether or not Camilla can go out there, like that one game, that monster game she had, which I think she scored 14 in the first, quarter or whatever. They ain't even like care. You know what I mean? They didn't even continue to ride her the rest of the game. Like they act like she ain't part of the future at all. If it's anybody they looking to scapegoat, in my opinion, I think it's Cardoso. I think Angel Reese makes she's potentially too much money for them to do that. Like they would go against conventionally what businessmen have been doing forever to me if they're doing that. But they might, I don't. They might be that bad, but I don't know. That would surprise me. He wants European people. Gee up. Then why didn't he draft European players? Then he drafted the one girl, right? He could have signed European players instead of Kia Nurse. He could have signed European players instead of Vandersloot. Is Vandersloot European? He's got a European ass name. I don't know, but he could have signed people instead of Allen. He could have signed European players. That's the thing. Matter of fact, I wish he would sign European players. I would love Angel Reese, Camilla Cardoso, Ariel Atkins, and then 2 European girls, like that girl that was down with the Mercury, against Dallas, hitting all them damn threes. I would love them girls like in Minnesota, Alana Smith and all the rest of their names. Shit, I would love a whole bunch of them. Like he had an opportunity to go sign those type of players. Like if he wants them, why didn't he get them? That's my thing. Chicago Cheetah says, honestly, the Chicago Sky had the 3rd most attendance at 12,000 behind the Golden State Valkyries and the Indiana Fever. What game was this? That's good, but what game was this? Chicago Cheetah. Woody Mackinac platform says, Uncle J, as you have seen though through the years, if the GM hired coach that he got to let it go like the GM is failing at his job, Jeff P wants Marsh to succeed unless Jeff P can't be fired. Yeah, I agree with that. I just go with the logical stuff, because it's just, unless Jeff P got some type of situation with that owner where he got for real, he got carte blanche, he's told you're safe. I just don't see him purposely putting together a bad year. Like, who would do that? Unless he just can't be fired. Phillips Berrien says they need a Cheryl Swoops, a coach who knows how to win games, a championship, and Cheryl can do it. Hey, I would do it. I like Spoon, and I think there's something to. I know men have won championships before with women. I know that, but I think there's just something to women kind of like coaching other women. I just think like a woman could just say some shit to another woman that a man might not be able to, I could be right or wrong about that though. Unless you like Gino and you just got it down. Felicia Daniels says, there's a petition going around to fire Jeff. You can sign it and leave a comment. It may not do anything, but I still signed it. If y'all come across it, think about, oh yeah, I'm definitely signing that. Shit, I'm definitely signing that. Wody Max says, and I said this last night, if Angel gets traded, it probably will be for a high draft pick, and that means a trash team. Not New York, not the Lynx, not the Aces. Right. Exactly. Angel Reese will go for a very high draft pick. High pick. And then what? Like, it's not like whatchamacallit, Juju coming out or something like that. Who's coming out next year that you want? Miles? Like, shit, Chicago already sucks. You could probably still get it. Oh, that's right. We ain't got a draft pick next year, though, do we? So I definitely don't get it. So I guess you trader. Sure, you can trade Camilla, I guess. I don't know. But Angel, I don't get that. Trading Angel Reese. I don't understand that one at all. Ace says, I was waiting for my dog Fulan to tell Jeff P about his slimy self. Trade Angel now and get what you get for her. I said this on channel 3. Well, you're a hater, Edward. Like, I don't really care about your opinion when it comes to Angel Reese, man. Like, when we're going to talk about Caitlin Clark or something, then we could talk. But your whole view of Angel Reese as a player is wrong. So, like, I really wouldn't care about what you think why she should be treated this and that. You don't know how to recognize. You don't value what she does, and what she brings to the game. So I wouldn't even have that discussion with you. Uncle J.E. Wody, Dallas would be a great landing spot for Angel. Oh, I would love to see Angel Reese in Dallas or Paige in Chicago, but we know Paige ain't going nowhere. They're holding on to that with their molar teeth. Yeah, I would love to see Angel. Just imagine. Then Dallas in the Fever would be the greatest joint ever, because now you got Paige, CC, Angel, Aaliyah, Boston. That would just be like, that would just blow the sky out the roof. Because now we're going back to the South Carolina LSU rivalry, and you got the Paige and CC, which is going to be, that's going to be debated their whole careers, Paige and CC. Roland 7681 says, it's funny because the Mystics coach was an assistant under Spoon, and I am loving how he is working with those women. All season long, I was asked how did they let him leave the building. Okay. Donald Tillman says, I just got here, but how do you need more from Angel when I just said that she's not our number one option? Maybe he does need her to be the number one option. Maybe he does need her to be the number one option. Maybe that's what he's saying. But I think it was just something he said before the New York Liberty game. And he said it probably after that game when she had 4 points, 12 rebounds, which, was, okay, you want more scoring, but really, you can't say that that's a completely bad game. 12 rebounds. You're active. You're definitely out there doing something, getting steals and all of that. But who knows? Maybe her performance in New York has something to do with him saying that stupid crap. I don't know. Keystone says, Fulan, this entire season was to uplift and make Sloot the power, the FP, the focal point. Okay. Her injury caused his plan to completely backfire, and now he is in the scramble mode. He is absolutely throwing Angel under the bus. Okay. Yeah. But that's more so to save himself, right? Or do you believe it was his plan all along to kind of like make Angel look bad? To get her a point guard who purposely, because I thought at the beginning, right? And this is where pretty much everybody was. And this is sometimes where I think we got to have a moment of honesty as a fan base. The main thing we were saying last year was that Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso needed what? They need a point guard to get them the ball. Also, Angel Reese in the beginning of the year was saying similar like that. If you listen to what was coming out of training camp, they were actually happy with the guard play. Angel actually made a statement about she needs vets and all of that. Everyone was praising Sloot for these things. purposely. I just think it didn't work out. And losing just leads to just all types of craziness coming from everywhere. Fans, players, the GMs. Losing is like, it's a calamity, man, that a lot of people can't deal with. That's all I think it is. Because a lot of us who saying a lot of stuff we're saying now, we were saying things like this was a better team than last year's. Whereas we clearly know it's not now. It's not a better roster than last year's roster. Last year's roster, just the fact you had Mabry and you had Kennedy Carter, last year's roster was better. I don't care about none of the other players. If you just had Mabry, Kennedy Carter, last year's roster was better. We see that now, But beginning of the year, after that damn game against Brazil, we all was loving Kid Nurse, even though I was like a little reluctant. I was saying, all right, it looks good when she's making them threes. When them shits ain't falling, because I'm never into the 3-point thing. I don't believe in that shit. So I was telling you, when the nights when they're not falling, you're gonna hate her. You can go back and check my videos. I was saying that. Woody says, in all platforms won't happen, but the Lynx could give Chicago their pick back for Angel. The Lynx? Angel end up with the Lynx? I don't know, man. They none of that stuff. I don't see none of that happening. Let her walk. Every team in the league will be going after her. Yeah, I think a lot of teams will be going after Angel Reese. Absolutely. Donald Tillman says, Jeff should be fired from this statement that he needs more from Angel. But earlier this year, he made Camilla the number one option. I think he should be fired because of the season. Not necessarily because of statements. But he should be fired because he picked Kia Nurse, signed her when he could have. Even if you can't get none of these great vets that are out there, who needs them? Go to Europe and get some floor spacers. Get a 3-and-D from Europe. I think he should be fired because I'm not going to say fired for Vandersloot, but he should be questioned about how many minutes he was giving Vandersloot for sure. And then some of those other picks, the Rebecca Allens, and then some of these other players, the Rachel Bannums, he should be questioned about trading Mabry for Bannum and Jefferson. He should be his foot to the fire should be for that too. Everything he's done since trading, firing Witherspoon, his feet should be to the fire for all of that stuff. So he shouldn't feel comfortable at all. So I wouldn't be shocked that, a lot of stuff he says. He shouldn't be comfortable. So if he's fired, there's a lot of stuff to fire him about. Trading away, he should be held accountable. Yeah, trading away your first round pick. Yeah, he should be held accountable for maybe not staying put and taking Sonya Citron, or some other player. Because just imagine, Citron will have your roster a lot better. You wouldn't have Ariel Atkins, but hell, you would be more patient with a Citron. Like the fans would be more patient because that's a rookie. Whereas Ariel, I'm expecting all-star play from her now, and you're not getting that on a nightly basis. So yeah, his feet should be to the fire for all of that. When you go out there and you get veterans like Vandersloot and Ariel Atkins, what you're indicating is that you're trying to go for it now. See, that's the other reason, too, why I don't really buy this whole narrative that he was trying to build a bad team. Only because he got, you're taking your number 3 pick, and you're picking up Ariel Atkins, who was a quality player. Then you're picking up Courtney Vandersloot, who I think, in his opinion, he believes she's an excellent point guard. I think Jeff really believes that, right? So he gets that backcourt, which we thought was instantly a better backcourt. Where he messed up at, though, is at that 3 spot. That's where he really messed up at. You didn't address that. He could have in the draft, though. Could have in the draft. But those players told me that he thought that this was going to be a better team and a competitive team. He was wrong. So he should be fired for that. Because you that's your job to know that. It's your job to just know that. Garrett says, Fulan, HVL is getting the quick yank. I feel bad for her. Is she doing something wrong? Yeah, she is getting the quick yank. And it's bad that she's with this dumbass organization, or with this dumb coaching staff, and FP, because I think what's happening with HVL is they got her thinking too much. They got her out there trying to figure this point guard stuff out. The hell with that. Whatever you were doing in college that got you picked, just do that. Like, just hunt shots. I want HVL just shooting, letting it come flow naturally. Do what you do well now and slowly work on that other stuff. I can just tell she's hesitant to take shots that I know she can normally take. It's a disaster. She's not being coached properly at all. You know what I mean? Yeah, Jared, that dude Ben, whatever he says, just make it hard for him. Treat him like this dude Ben, whatever, whose message I just deleted. Treat him like a little bitch. Just like put him on timeout for a minute every time he come. Then let him come back, right? Then put him on timeout again immediately. Just play with him, right? Since he wants to play with us. All right, Philip Berrien says, Angel Reese needs a Cheryl Swoops to fix this mess. Yeah, I'm cool with Cheryl Swoops. Dr. Malik is back. What's up, bro? He says, why make her look bad if you're going to try to trade her? Exactly. You will want to get the most for her. I just think Jeff P is just bad. He's an idiot. Yeah, we're pretty much on the same page with it. That's more likely what it is. He's just a bad GM. I think he sincerely believes Sloot is good. I think he sincerely believes Kid Nurse is good. I just think he's not good at evaluating, and he should be fired for those reasons. I don't think he's insidious and sinister enough to put together this elaborate plan, and that's the stuff that really gets you fired, unless the owner and y'all is like in bed literally or something. So Tyler will be fired either now or after the All-Star break. You think so? Well, put it this way. I agree. I'll put it this way. If Tyler gets fired, then that's an indicator that Jeff P could be fired. If Tyler is fired, that's an indicator that Jeff P could be fired, because that's a desperation move, right? You're talking about with a young team, young building blocks. If Tyler is fired, then that means Jeff P is in hot water with the owners. Chicago Cheetah says, exactly, they're going to live or die by the three-point line. But the three-point line has not won them a single game this season of the 2 games they won. Yeah, I know. Matt Hunt says, move Angel to the bench and run everything through HBL and Cardoso. Angel needs to know her place. She should never get the ball unless she rebounds. All right. Let's see what we're going to do for Matt Hunt. I'm going to give you, Matt, a 10-second timeout, right? And then the next time it'll be a 1-minute timeout. And then it like what happens is each timeout it progressively gets worse, right? For stupid comments. That's the way it's going to go, right? The thing about this place right here, right? I know it looks like a car, but this is actually a castle. This is what it is. It's a castle, right? And the king is me, right? And the way I run it is like it's not a democracy. I'm not into democracy. I'm more so into like, it's not an empire, right? But it's a dictatorship, right? You see what I mean? It's that sort of thing. All right. And the Council of Nobles are the people with the wrenches. Like, they're the Council of Nobles. Nurse and Bantam's production and efficiency goes down with more playing time. The other coaches knew this, hence their minutes and team rules in the past. Nurse and Bantam's production and efficiency goes down with more playing time. Yeah, that's true. The other coaches know this and their minutes and team. Yeah. Welcome to HGTV. What's up, bro? Michaela isn't playing because she is a tweener, not great enough to shoot or defend from the 3 and too small to play the 4. So they don't know what to do with her. I agree with that. But it's like, what about Kid Nurse? You know what I mean? It's just the problem is Kid Nurse like better? And is Rebecca Allen better? That's all I'm saying. Not not this big idea that Michaela is so great. It's more like those guys. They're trash. It's more of that sort of thing for me, Like Bantam getting minutes though, like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people that's trash on this damn team, as we all know. Know her place, yeah. Jared, HVL is not ready and plays too small. Yeah, it's okay to not be ready though. Like, what you doing on this team? You winning something? It's okay to not be ready. Here comes Edward. At Philip Berrien, Cheryl Swoops was fired from her last coaching job at Loyola Chicago. She was fired because of her incompetence. All right, I see. All right, you know what, Edward? I see a pattern. You don't like Angel, or you love Caitlin Clark. You don't like Angel Reese. You don't like Cheryl Swoops. Typical Clarkie. But you know what? That's fine. Clarkies, y'all make the place interesting. So that's fine. Angel only saying that to protect her brand, though. You could be right. Angel is a professional. Okay. All right. So Angel is going to defend coaches who she believes are purposely trying to destroy her. Okay. Well, if she's going to do that, in front of the camera, at least I hope she's working to get back at them behind the scenes. I'll just put it that way. Because I don't see the effectiveness in, like, this guy's putting me out there, he's throwing me under the bus, he's doing that, but I'm just going to keep just saying, give him a chance, and I like it. That's what she's doing. She better be doing something behind the scenes. You know what I mean? That shows how she really feels, at least, if it's all about branding and how you fronting in front of the camera. Felicia Daniels says, a reporter specifically asked Tyler if they had plans to make more plays for Angel, and Tyler danced around the question. He never answered it. That could be because he ain't really running the offense, too. AB says, my brother Fulan. Edward Stevens, salute Fulan. Yeah, all right. Yeah, salute Edward. This guy. Jeff P is pulling a Howie Roseman, 2017 to 20. All right, this is an interesting comment. Let's seep into this since you want to bring up Howie Roseman, who I know a whole lot about. Jeff P is pulling a Howie Roseman, 2017 to 2020. Pulled everybody, but he's the one that made the roster, thinking he got enough time to clean up his own mess. See, the only thing I would say about that is Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie have a special relationship, a special bond, okay? And you might not like or you like how this sounds, but they have a Jewish brotherhood. They do. Like, they both go to the same synagogue, all of that kind of stuff. Eagles ownership, that's known. They have that type of brotherhood. Also, Howie Roseman serves a couple of functions. Howie Roseman was not always great at roster production, roster building. He was not always great at talent evaluation. But Howie was always great at the money in the books and accounting. That's his wheelhouse. He was always good at managing that cap. So Howie was always going to have a job under Jeffrey Lurie regardless. He's going to have a job. The question was Jeff going to just only use him for his ability to, to cook the books? Or would he also allow him to do talent evaluation? So even when, say, whatchamacallit came, Chip Kelly came, and Jeff gave Chip Kelly, control over the roster building, he kept Howie around. He was just in a more of a limited role. What I'm saying is I don't know that Jeff P has that same type of relationship with the owner. Now, we're going to find out. I just don't know if he does or not. So I can't really necessarily see the correlation between Howie Roseman and Jeff P. Besides that, Howie Roseman is just the best GM in sports right now. By the way, it's just hard to see any type of correlation there. It's hard for me to see the analogies. But, and I don't see why he thinks he has time. unless he's like benefiting the owner in some other way. AB says, man, Chicago don't want to win at all. The writing is on the wall. Jeff is trash as the GM. I agree with Jeff is trash. They don't want to win. Well, a lot of people feel that way, bro. And hey, I'm not gonna tell y'all wrong at all. Miss Goody Two Shoes says there are other articles where Jeff is saying that he doesn't think they should trade Nurse or Ewell for a point guard. Damn, I need to look into those, Miss Goody Two Shoes. Can I find them online? I need to research that stuff because that definitely sounds crazy. Jeff sounds like he got some sugar in his tank. Hey, that could explain some things, and if the owner does as well, then then maybe he does feel safe that he can just do whatever he wants. If that's going on. Felicia Daniel says, we read the entire statement and we understood it. Angel isn't the only one on the team. He should have mentioned all the players or more specifically only in general. Agreed. He should have. That would have been way smarter for him to do that. Like, just only talking about Angel Reese that was just stupid. That was stupid. So that's either incompetence or, like some people think, he got other plans. I'm not telling nobody they're wrong. Believe me. I'm just telling you what I lean towards believing. But I'm not telling nobody they're wrong. Because we don't know. Or at least I don't know. Lisa Leslie before Swoops. I'm with that. I'm with Lisa Leslie. Because Lisa Leslie can help develop your bigs. I'm definitely with Lisa Leslie. Swoops I just likes already. I just like Swoops because I know Swoops hates Indiana. That's a reason. And that might not be a good reason to want Swoops. But, like, I'm into that shit. I'm into, rivalry. I hate this team. I'm going to do it because that's what I'm into. That's what drives me. You know what I mean? When Dick Vermeil came to the Eagles back in the early 80s, he hated the Dallas Cowboys. And that helped them to get the Eagles to the Super Bowl. It's just, you know what I mean? I'm a little different, I know. Dr. Malik says, Jeff P needs to turn this around. He is on the hot seat. The Sky ownership group wants results. They are investing in a new practice facility and they need a good team. That's more so what I'm leaning towards. I'm leaning more towards that because that's very logical and that is very much like the way of investors, ownership groups. I believe that's where I am with it, to be honest with you. And I know everybody gonna like they gonna like, man, you sound like one of them Chicago Sky fans. I'm sorry, man. I'm just, I'm a theology student. I am. I went to seminary, college I studied theology, philosophy. I can't help it. The way I work, my mind works. Things have to make sense to me. It's just, I apologize. Felicia Davis says, trade talk instead of utilizing them correctly. Yeah, I do believe they're trying to trade somebody. I have a hard time believing it's Angel Reese though. But what they better watch out for is Angel souring on them and wanting to leave. That's what they got to watch out for. Make sure you keep her happy. Okay, you need Barbie nights. You need whatever. And that's the other thing. Why would they get HVL if they don't? If ahead of time they just, you know what I mean? It's just certain things they're doing that's hard for me to believe that they don't at least care about Angel Reese or put it this way, if fuck care about her. That ain't the right word in business. That they don't see her as a valuable asset. Put it that way. We can talk that way. None of them might not care about each other, none of that. Getting HVL indicates to me that you value her as an asset, at the very least. Tameka says, or Tamika, sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. My first response was that Jeff was being a jerk. Listening again, there is wiggle room. The question could have been asked specifically about Angel, but he has to have a more savvy. That's true. That's true that the question could have been asked specifically about her. That is true. But his answer got to be better because, like I said, that's your franchise player. That's your franchise player. And that's your best asset. The hell with, forget the word. That's your best asset if you're the Chicago Sky right now. That's the one that got you them national games. Angel friggin' Reese got you all them national games you got and all of that. That's your best asset. Okay? So yeah, unless y'all have an understanding, because like for example, Greg Popovich and Tim Duncan had an understanding where Greg Popovich could just throw Tim Duncan under the bus all he wanted. He could yell at him in front of players. He could do all of that. And the reason was, it was like the other players need to see. If I could talk to you like that, that makes it easier for me to coach them. If it's that type of thing, then I can understand it. But then again, to me, that requires a certain level of genius that I don't think Jeff has. You know what I mean? So I'm not 100% with that. I think it's more like he just said some dumb shit. That's what I think. You know, I just don't think he's a genius, either in the good way or in the bad way. You said you would be surprised if either got traded. I don't see why you'd be surprised if Camilla got traded. If you look at the way they're like doing her minutes, I don't know why Camilla being traded would surprise you at all. And then there's an argument that maybe they don't fit the best. You know, I don't know. He said, I really don't like Nija by Bliss Sports says, or Bias Sports. I really don't like how the coach is handling Camilla. Me either. I would be okay if they trade Camilla. I want her to be in a better place. Jay, breaking news. Clark is back. Ooh, she's supposed to have been back last game. Tamika says, I want to see how Camilla plays in Chile with Brazil. Okay. But no, we can't let her go without getting something. If she plan on leaving, yeah, trade her. If she plan on like leaving and not coming back, no, try to trade her, get something. Man, we done waste enough picks. Bright Eye says he doesn't want someone he can't control. You talking about Tyler Marsh? Miss Goody Two Shoes says top teams in the WNBA are coached by women. Yeah, these days, yep, that's true. AB says Jeff is not going to allow the head coach to control the team. Look at what happened to Teaspoon. You might have a point. With that. He might be one of those general managers that likes to put his hand all in everything. That happens sometimes. That could very well be it, that he wants somebody that he can run over and all of that. But that may be to his demise at the same time. You know, because if that's the way you want to run the team, maybe an owner will let you do it. But if that shit don't work, that's your ass even more. Whereas if you more so let back and you let the coach, if you kind of sit back and you let the coach run the team, then what happens is you can tell the owner it wasn't me, it was him. But if the owner knows that you're really the one doing it and this is just some guy you're running over, and if the owner knows that, that's on you. But I don't know how Chicago runs. They could be completely more incompetent than what I'm saying. I don't know. I'm learning now. Edward Stevens said hi. There you go, Edward. Bright Eye said send her to Dallas. It's cool. Well, Camilla? Yeah, Camilla and Dallas would be nasty. But who they going to get for Enrique? Is that it? Camilla for Enrique? I would do it. I don't know how Enrique works out. We just got to figure that shit out in Chicago, but I would do it. Yep. I would do Angel for Enrique too, but I would only do it. That wouldn't be for Chicago. That'd be more so for Dallas, because I like Dallas too. I can't lie. You know, I do. Dallas they just picked up Paige and they picked up Dejanay. It's impossible for me not like that team. Spot on. Jeff P is in scapegoat mode, trying to blame anyone but himself for all the horrible decisions he made. That's what I believe. His actions, that's what his actions kind of tell me he's doing. ADP Art Creations is hateful ad coming from the KSAP community. What's up, bro? Say what's up. Tell KSAP I say what's up as well. John, my opinion is Angel Reese is a semi-above average WNBA player. However, her interests lie in becoming a model and YouTube influencer. Angel's a multimillionaire. She really doesn't put in the time. Okay. So first you start off by saying she's above average. All right, I agree with that. So You buttering me up a little bit. All right, so your next line is, her interests lie in becoming a model and YouTube influencer. My question would be, how do you know that? Are you saying simply because she has a podcast? Okay. Would you say that about every single sports figure that has a podcast? Because there are many. Micah Parsons has a podcast. Paul George has a podcast. Hell, LeBron has a damn podcast. Freaking, it's kind of a common thing now, popular thing now. And modeling and stuff like that, if you really look at modeling is something that I think you can do alongside a full-time job. It's really a part-time type of thing. It's more so your people are saying, hey, such and such magazine wants to meet with you such and such day to run a shoot 4 hours or whatever, right? You can kind of like schedule your because this is the thing, right? When you're a professional athlete, right, there's certain obligations that you have, certain practices, certain things, and things that you have established, right? Then there's other time where you can go do other things, like Caitlin Clark, for example, let's say, right? Caitlin Clark might not be into modeling for reasons that are different from Angel, right? But she's into State Farm commercials. She actually, during the time when basketball had stopped, Caitlin Clark was out golfing, doing different things like that, right? She's shopping in Milan and whatever the hell she's doing with Kate Martin, right? I'm just wondering, do you feel like she wasn't putting time in the gym? And does that have anything to do with like her poor field goal percentage now? Like with Caitlin? I'm just wondering, because she did the State Farm commercial, right? Does that mean she has other interests that are hurting the game? Just wondering, because I'm trying to get why you think being a YouTube influencer, which is during the time when you're not in the game or when you're not practicing, you're just talking like I'm doing right now, something, right? Why do you feel like that's impossible to do while simultaneously focusing on something like basketball, right? Why don't you think, okay, that players have their day scheduled out where, okay, I'm practicing X amount of hours, right? And then afterwards, I have free time, and in my free time, I'm doing these things. Also wondering or are you aware of like what they say about Angel Reese, for example? Like it's said about her that she spends extra time in the gym. It's said about her that she's like the first one in and the last one out. Like these are things that are actually said about her by players. I'm just wondering, like, how does one ignore all of that and then come away with narratives like yours, that she just her interests lie in becoming a model and YouTube influencer, and she doesn't put in the time? Like, how do you know that? Because I kind of study Angel Reese for part of what I do here, because I blog about her a lot. I'm unaware of this. That's all. I'm just wondering, John, where are you getting your information from? I'm just curious. Black Thracian says, no chance Angel plays for the Fever. Oh, God. Whew, that's made my stomach hurt, man. Nobody want to see that, do you? Fever would be a hell of a team, though, if you can get Caitlin to diversify her scoring portfolio a little bit, and if Angel continues to work on her game, yeah, they will control the board. I'll tell you that. Black 30 said, John, you have literally no bias for that opinion. John says it's just your opinion. Okay. Now I'm just wondering, like, why do you believe Angel Reese's interests are just in modeling and stuff, and not basketball? I just don't get that. Where are you getting this from? Uncle Jay says, John, what was Unrivaled during the off season? Yeah, exactly. That's true, John, Uncle Jay. I see y'all handling my man. Jackie, I just subscribed. Jackie, are you Jackie Young? That would be awesome. But thanks for the sub, Jackie. John says, I don't waste my time watching Unrivaled. John, that's not the answer. It's not a good answer. It's really not. ADP Art Creation says his plan all along, right? Sloot was supposed to be the face. Now he looks dumb. See, I don't believe Sloot was supposed to be the face. Like that. Like, if his idea is I'm going to make Sloot the face of the team at 36 years old, he should be fired immediately. Because that is just the dumbest thing ever. Like, you've had Sloot. Sloot has been on this team for what, over 10 years or so? Just for a multiple amount of years, right? And you were never getting national games. Do you realize, like, 3 years ago, the WNBA had 24 national games all total? 24 for the whole league. Do you know now Chicago Sky themselves just have 24? You see what I'm saying? Indiana, of course, Fever got 41 or whatever. New York, I think, has 38 or something or close to it. Like, you had Vandersloot as your potential face all those years. You had freaking Candace Parker and all of them. And you didn't get that. And I know it's a due time and all of that. But Angel Reese is the reason you got the fourth most national games. It's the reason. There's nothing else going on with the team. That's the reason. Team ain't winning. Black Thracian says, I can't believe the All-Star game will be Lexi Hull and Kelsey Mitchell while Natasha Cloud and Mabry and Jackie Young miss out. How you figure that? They win. I mean, the voting just started, right? Of course, Lexi Hall will get voted in because Fever fans vote a lot, and a lot of us. So we got to show out and vote and compete with them. See, I don't complain about that stuff. We gotta be have as much fervor as those bumpkins do. They're gonna go out there and vote for all these dumbass players. Fever, they're gonna vote for Sophie Cunningham, people who shouldn't even be sniffing the damn All-Star game. We got to go out there and vote. Like, them people have no lives. They probably vote for each person 100 times. Hell, we got to match it. Since the rules are so dumb and loose that they allow you to do that, you got to match it. Like, I don't complain about that stuff. Dexter Fuqua says Jeff P is sabotaging Angel Reese on purpose. Yeah, that is a common belief. Some people believe that. I'm not there yet, Dex. I'm not there yet. But that is a belief a lot of people have. Black Church, Dana Evans. You want Dana Evans back? I don't know if that's happening. Nigel by Sports Channel says, I was giving Sloot time because even point guard and Angel didn't click at first. That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. Oh man, y'all jumping on John real crazy. You deserve it though, John. You coming in talking crazy, man. The problem with Sloot started to be about her scoring and not passing. She rarely passed to Camilla or Angel. Yep. But some believe that this was by design. Others, I don't know. I mean, if it is by design, you got to fire that dude. Because at the end of the day, it ain't work. Black Thracian says, I don't get why CC fanboys can't admit there are much better and efficient players in the league. Because they don't watch them. They don't pay attention to other players. Like, see, even when CC is in a game getting cooked, they don't even pay attention to the player that's cooking the Fever. Right? They don't. That's how crazy they are. Like, Jewel Lloyd, the first time they played against the Fever last year, cooks them for 33. Jewel Lloyd literally just cooked them in the game. A CC fan after the game will say, who's Jewel Lloyd? They don't know. They never heard of it. They're literally watching, right? But they don't even learn about the other players during the Fever game that they're watching. That's how fucked up they are. They're that bad. That's bad. That's like, you need help type of stuff. That's how bad that is. Like, the world you're in is just this make-believe world. That's CC fans. Like, they're that fucked up. Like, I remember she got cooked by somebody. And they I remember it literally happened. The next day they don't remember who that player was. They'll say, I don't know who that is. Yeah. They might not even watch the games though. They might just watch highlights that only got CC plays where it looks like she's cooking everybody all the time because they don't watch the whole game, so they don't see the turnovers and times when she's locked up. You know what I mean? So that's the thing, man. Brogad, this guy, he says, Demon home. Caitlin Clark plays basketball tomorrow. Okay. I'm sure you're happy. Care less? I could not. In my Yoda voice. Nigel Bias Bliss Sports Channel. Bias Sports Channel. I'm sorry. Like the writing is so small here. I believe this was a sabotage since Marina was traded for a 2 bag of chips. Well, if so, then it's really bad. You said CC22 is playing tomorrow against New York. Is that definitive? Oh boy, y'all sitting there talking about some damn CC. Wody Mack on all platforms says, you speaking to Black Thracian, okay. Rogag Captain said, Jackie doesn't matter. We back up. Best point guard in the league comes back tomorrow to slay the Liberty. Super Cap. Captain America Cap. Woody Mack says, Brugad, she should have sat out once more. I think after 10 days they can bring in Ari without cutting someone. Yeah, let them cut Ari, man. Chicago can use her. Ari getting money under the table to stay put. Too. Rogag got all types of inside information about we copy a Vegas playbook. They stay money under the table. Boy, capologist. So Brogad says, if the Fever beat my Liberty, I'm going to be pissed. While people throwing shade at the Fever saying they supposed to be contenders, in their heart they know that Fever not good enough. CC22 is the face of the WNBA. She is indeed the best point guard, not shooting guard, point guard. Yeah, they wanted to be the face of the league. I get that though. You know, you got all them bumpkins that want to watch her. I would probably make her the face too, just for business. Not that I would do it because she the best. She ain't the best. Bro, she is not the best point guard. Y'all going back and forth with CC. This is what CC fans do. They come and they try to cause confusion. They want to, divert from what we're talking about to bring attention to her. And then they get mad when I start cooking her ass. Because you are like anyone who follow my channel, you already know what's going to happen. Right? I'm sitting there, we talking about Chicago Sky, talking about Jeff P and all of that. You coming there talking about CC, right? Then when I start cooking her ass, then now you want to get mad at us and me. See, I'm just letting you know, you're bringing it on yourself. That's what you're doing. You bring it on yourself when that happens. Because now all I'm seeing is comments about Clark and y'all going back and forth about Caitlin Clark. Tyler Moore should be fired. Good. Tyler Moore should be fired, but doubtful because that's his puppet, but not impossible because he is used as a scapegoat. Listen, man, if the owners are allowing puppets and, puppet masters and stuff like that, then shame on them. That's all I can say. Management, coach team are the problem, but Angel Reese, she is her. I think Chicago Sky has too many bench players playing as starters. Wow, I'm way backed up on my comments. This is crazy. This is crazy. Welcome to HGTV says, I don't want to hear no excuses. The Fever better win this year. They say, yeah, I agree. I'm the same way when it comes to the Fever, man. Fever better win this year, man. Said Cheryl Swoops is fired because of her abuse, not incompetence. I don't mind abuse on players. What y'all talking about? Hold up. Is somebody in here talking shit about Paige Beckers? Because you're gonna definitely get cooked if that's going on. Let me back up real quick, see what the hell y'all talking about. You doing that, somebody gonna get cooked real bad. Somebody gonna get flame broiled in this joint. Amazing 50,000 says, John, CC is the face to casual fans watching basketball. And those type of fans can be bad for sports. Casual fans only bringing money, but bringing no knowledge of the game, basketball. Black 30 says the plus minus is bogus. Paige went for 35 and was a minus 12. Yeah, Paige was efficient, was great in that game, but that you don't need plus minus in those situations, because when you lose, plus minus doesn't just factor just you, it factors the whole team. That's the problem. You got to know when and when not to use plus minus. Black and Right React says CC has a fake injury right now because she was playing like shit. Now she will have an epic comeback. Guarantees she will come back against a team the Fever can beat and become a damn hero. Yeah, that's what HD used to say that she has a fake injury. That jump had me rolling. He said, why she jumping around and all that? Man, that is a good question. I don't know. If she faking injuries, man, she's a clown if she doing that. But I don't know. And Dexter Fuqua, now to be fair and honest, according to her college stats and film, she's showing exactly what people expected her to be. And she's still below average defender. So she is as advertised. Thanks. For Felicia Daniels, thanks. Comes in with the $5 super chat. I don't have a super sticker. Okay, I might have to enable my super sticker options. Apologize about that. His body language along with that interview is important, Fulan. He doesn't like her, but knows her value as a whole for the team financially. Reese was a teaspoon pickup. Yeah, I mean, that could be. But that doesn't mean he has the power to just do what he wants, I mean, he could. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know what type of string and rope he has. But the way he's acting to me, it seems like he's acting like he wants to protect himself. That's what it seems like to me. So this guy played the least amount of games prior to tonight. Yo, funny, man. Jonathan Gonzalez says, too many stupid people like Charlie, Boxing, and Bulldogs exist on this earth. We all know Angel isn't to blame of all this, but who said that we were blaming everyone except her? Yeah, Boxing and Bulldogs is crazy. He be talking stupid, don't he? Yeah, I know that guy, man. But anyway, oh man. This was a good live. But I gotta get on out of here. We hit about an hour and a half, man. Appreciate everybody coming through. Appreciate everybody coming through. So, peace out.